Hello and welcome to the Unofficial Controller Podcast, your weekly gaming podcast, episode 45, the history of the Nintendo Gamecube, with me, George, and as always joined by Tom, Wavebird, to my dead albatross. How's it going?
I'm very well, mate, thank you. Are you okay?
I am doing well.
Excellent. I'm very excited this week. We've got a great feature on the Nintendo Gamecube.
Is this because you took the lead?
I did a little bit, yeah.
So you're excited?
I am.
So if I
worked my fingers to the bone on that one.
Oh, I bet you did. Well, let's welcome in the new listeners and give them a quick rundown of how the show's going to go.
Go for it.
So, going to hit them up with some excellent gaming news this week. Tom, what we got?
Yeah, we've got a little bit of everything, really. We've got some news on the new Xbox Series X.
Excellent. Then we launch into this week's feature. Everyone's turned up ready for this. It's the history of the Nintendo GameCube, where we've incorporated our dear listeners' memories.
We have.
And then we limp into the section that you love, Listeners Stingray, where we go through the listeners' pickups, new and old, as Stingray's done his round-the-world trip, popped his boot, and they've nabbled bits out of it for themselves. Then the big man, the real deal, turns up at the bunker's front door, and we pick out ourselves a new release and all that other good stuff. And then the show closes when I ask you what you're hoping to play. And the show will begin in a moment with what you've been playing. But before we do that, Tom, turn on the Hoover, grab some pledge and dusters. Mumsy wants some housekeeping done. Now, we just wanted to take a moment to reach out to all our listeners and thank them for listening in. Now, Tom, we have got a wide range, a smorgasbord, a cheese platter of countries across the world that have listened in. So we shall list them off. So we've got listeners in Italy,
Ukraine,
the UK,
USA,
Australia,
Canada,
Denmark,
France,
Ireland,
New Zealand,
Germany,
Netherlands,
Brazil,
Spain,
Finland,
Sweden,
Puerto Rico,
United Arab Emirates,
Norway,
Japan,
Belgium,
Greece,
Ireland,
Russia,
Bolivia,
Gibraltar,
India,
Austria,
Tunisia,
Mexico,
Switzerland,
the Philippines,
Poland,
and Slovakia.
Tom, this show has worldwide reach.
That's pretty awesome. It's nice to know in just under a year we've covered the globe, really.
We have. International Globetrotters to the stars. And we just want to take a moment to thank every single
thank you for tuning in.
Of the listeners, and thank you to all of those people that reside in all of those countries. And tell a friend.
Yeah.
If you're from one of those countries and you're listening now, tell a friend. Tell everybody you know.
Absolutely. I really wanted to read out those country names like in Street Fighter. You know, where the little plane flies to.
Yeah, you don't like doing voices on air, though, do you? You get all embarrassed.
I get scared.
You do.
Scared.
So when do you want it to do a call to arms? Do you want to do that now?
I think it'll be better with a feature because it's to do with a feature. If that's okay.
Okay. Well, in that case, the old school listeners, they know what's coming. And the new guys are about to find out. And let's keep this real. Let's keep this pure. Let's keep this. It's not the key that unlocks the show this week, Tom. It's Odders. He's doing well, by the way. He's got now a Mondeo.
I see.
Gear X 51 plate. 100,000 miles on the clock, but she cleans up a perler. It's got some
Very nice.
covers on it. Anyway, Odders, grip that well-worn 100,000 mile steering wheel, because I'm going to ask Tom what you've been playing.
This week I've been playing more Dreams. I've been playing more Shadow of the Colossus. And the usual online multiplayers.
The usual rammel.
Yeah, the assortment. Dreams is pretty good. I think I'm ready to do a bit of a lovely volley on that one.
Finally, the section of the show you invented, then put in the bin, then dragged back out like a screaming corpse from the lair pit itself.
It's going to be a leave for me.
Controversial. The game that's got 9s and 10s. Now we're talking to Tommy UK 73, who gave Days Gone 7 an AKA a leave, has now decided that Dreams, the game that got 10 out of 10 in nearly every place it was reviewed, is a leave. Tell us why.
Well, there's only one reason, really. One sole reason. Is the time that is required to build something substantial. And I'm not that great on the tools, I'll admit. Like, I'm sure other people would pick them up quicker.
You've got hands for thespian and stage work.
Only, yeah.
Yeah.
Not for hand tools. Yeah, building like elements and as they're called in the thing, or making them into a dream sequence, or making music. It's all really wonderfully done. Like the way they've designed that and the tools you can use, but you got to put a lot in to get a lot out, and I just haven't got the time for it.
So the box quote for Dreams from the Unofficial Controller podcast is, you've got to put a lot in to get a lot out, and I ain't got time for it.
There you go.
Boom. Wrapped up and done.
It's been nice to have a look at some of the stuff people's still been creating, still amazing things. And it will be something like Mario Maker, where I just dabble in, have a look what's been made, and maybe play a few games on it. See how now it's coming along. I think if the community stick with it, like the real sort of talented people on there.
So the few fans that reached out to me and said they were looking forward to playing Tom's Farmerton experience that he'd made on Dreams.
I think that will never happen.
So they've got to go back to that really duff Mario Maker level you made.
Mm-hmm.
Something for the attention span of a small gnat.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, so Dreams, gonna leave that one. Shame.
You hyped it. You came in.
Yeah.
You got angry.
It's a little bit like for me when I had Art Academy on the Wii U. Just dabble, just chill, like do a drawing, whatever. Put some music on. It's a good one for relaxing with.
Well, when someone finally makes like an English village, you can download that level, put your name on it, upload it, call it Farmerton.
Sounds perfect.
Job done. All right.
Shadow of the Colossus, I've done a couple more bosses. I'm
hang
like
on
12
Dreams.
down.
Little bit of bonus news.
Okay.
See, one of the Dreams creators, just a normal guy, has been given a job.
Yeah.
By a studio.
That's
I don't know
great
any
news.
more than that, because I've been very
same.
busy this week. Lord Ponsonbury's had my nose hard on the grindstone here in the bunker. He's not let me play many games either. Anyway, you were saying, what were you going to tell me?
Yeah, I've done a couple more Colossi on Shadow of Colossus.
Colossies?
And for anyone who's interested, obviously in that game, it is now free to download on the PlayStation 4 as a monthly game, which is pretty cool. Not cool for me because I've already got it. Can't win them all.
Can't win them all. You can trade it now, though.
I like the box. I like the physical edition.
It'll get traded eventually.
It will when the PS5 comes out, and I'm selling everything I have to get it.
Maybe you need another pay rise.
Maybe.
Okay.
Well, around about like October time, I'll start dropping the hints.
I'm surviving on an old cracker and some dried wafer thin ham.
It's enough for you.
Pounds are falling off, I have to admit. Okay.
Well, I suppose it's polite. I ask you what you've been playing this week.
Well, you asked me, think Sunday night, for some recommendations.
I did, yes. Yeah,
I said to you, my
did.
Max was a free game to download.
I know.
And
I
your
never got it
reply
in the
to me
library.
was, it's not new enough for me.
I have a really bad problem. Like, I'm counting down the days till I can leave the podcast on Friday night and go and get Doom. I really struggle to go back and play anything older than 6 months. Really
Mad
difficult.
Max is an incredible experience. Genuinely. Graphically, it's great. The bleached out sun. The gameplay mechanics are awesome. Not forgetting, it was a free PSN game of the month, so if you were savvy enough and not too busy playing your online shooty-shoot games, that would have been there for you on PSN. And I'm telling you, it's a real piece of you.
Okay.
So I've been playing that, not much, as I say, because Little Ponsonbury has had me whip crack away. So I've been doing a little bit of... before I went away, a little bit more Ni no Kuni. Oh, God, game. I'm not enjoying it at the moment. It's a grind. It's a real grind, but not an enjoyable grind. I quite like the old JRPG grind.
I did I'll say this now. I found that with the sequel, quite enjoyed like the opening 5 or 6 hours, and then it just hit a wall. It's like, I'm not enjoying this.
What else have I been doing? So there was that.
Sorry to
tell me,
just,
Mass Me.
sorry.
Come on, let me have the. You need your word share on the podcast. We know this.
On the subject of like grinding, do you look back at Death Stranding now and think some of that was a big slog?
Not at all. If I could forget that game, delete it from my memory, and do it all over again, I would, and I'd be as much into it as I was then.
Yeah.
I haven't gone back to it, admittedly. But
yeah, I never felt the urge to like sort of carry on with the roads and like trying to do all the sort of side missions, get all the what are they called? Where you do deliveries to?
Oh no, there was more. There was collectibles as well.
Oh really?
Well done.
I know. I just blitzed through. I mean, because the main story was so long, I found that took enough of my time, which is a good thing to say about a game.
Yeah. You felt it so long, you just rushed through it and didn't really watch any of the cutscenes or nothing.
No, I watched them.
Skip.
Yeah.
I watched every single second of it. I couldn't get enough of it. I thought it was absolutely entrancing. I thought it was a brilliant game. Anyway, we're talking about a game from probably 6 months ago now. No one's interested in that. And I'm about to talk about Persona 4 Golden on the Vita. Still enjoying that. Great game. That's never a grind for me. And I also found, behind a sofa, down on level 463 of the bunker, I found a used copy of MLB 06 on the PSP. And that's all right. It's honestly, I tell you what, I don't know if it holds up, but the attention to detail and the TV style presentation of it when you're actually in the matches is amazing, considering that's on a UMD. Absolutely amazing. Obviously nowhere near as awesome as it is on PS4, but and I think is that all. Had another couple of fights on Fight Night Round 3 as well. The game that keeps. And as I promised, man of my word, even if it cost me my hind legs, started a playthrough of Devil May Cry on the PlayStation 2.
Of the first one?
Yeah. And I just got to the bit before Lord Ponsonbury dragged me away. I got to the bit where I'd got Alabaster, is it the sword? Alistar. And you it sort of sticks you through you to the ground, and then you rise up through it. Yeah. But classic PS2 in-game cutscene, you rise up through, and it almost looks like it comes out through your face.
Yeah.
So it looked a bit dodgy, but I'm sure at the time it was amazing. I expected him to turn around and his whole face to be cleaved open, but that didn't happen. I'd
really like you to play at least 1 and maybe 4, and then play 5.
What about 2 and 3?
Yeah, you can understand.
Your opinion is not valid because you consider Mad Max to be an old game, and therefore you won't play it.
All right.
Games are still games.
I know. I just find it hard to go back. Always look forward.
You'll gear up and you'll play another 2D Mario when they put it out with its new flashy graphics on.
I must
admit, I'm a sucker for a 2D Mario.
No, I'm not. I hate the 2D Mario sometimes. I'm like, gives me Mario Odyssey sequel.
Back in the day when
what
the
is
Wii
going
U
on?
was your main gaming console, you trumpeted the 2D Marios like an absolute...
that's the only horse that could back in it. I was like, yeah, she's a good thoroughbred, she'll run well.
Yeah, it's missing all.
Basically, it's a donkey out of the yard.
Yeah, with like one leg.
Just thoughts about. I know last week I briefly mentioned Animal Crossing Direct, thinking that would lead to a Nintendo Direct this week, covering what else they're going to have coming out. Nothing this week again. Surely they can't go all the way to E3 and not say what they've got coming out, because it's pretty bare bones.
Well, we've got that game that you're about to hype when we get to the boot. That's coming out on
Switch. That's on PS4 as well.
And what are you going to get it on?
Rumour has it PS4, because the Switch doesn't run that well.
Top-down 2D game. It doesn't run it very well.
It's quite fast-paced, I think. Sometimes I think the optimization for it is not ideal for a lot of ports.
Because it's an iPad with a couple of Bluetooth controllers glued on the side.
Oh, it is. It is. I'm not saying it's not.
Okay.
I think if one of them had to go right now, it'd be the Switch.
Wow. Wow. Get the knackers yard on the phone. Get old Finster games on the phone. Cash it in.
If it was a main console and it didn't have that portability, I think it would have to go.
Wow.
Until Zelda sequel comes out, and then I just have to rebuy one.
Okay. Well, have you finished now?
Yeah.
Soapboxed out.
Disgruntled as usual with Nintendo's strange ways.
Well, it's time for the news. So scour the very darkest regions of the internet to bring you the latest stories. First up,
I ain't got time to bleed.
Oh.
The famous Predator line.
I think they probably knew that.
I don't know.
Well, we are playing to a room of kids as well, so don't forget that.
Yeah.
Old Fagan Ray brought the kids round. He's left them here, so I don't know what he's up to.
Predator Hunting Grounds is getting a demo before its launch. The trial weekend will run from March 27th to the 29th. It's going to be for the PS4 and PC players. Players will be able to play solo as a Predator or group up as a fire team of 4 to outwit the Predator and survive. You will need online play to access this trial weekend, though. Are you going to give that a double?
Maybe.
It's pretty cool from the footage they showed in the
Depends whether James
trailer.
and Fagan Ray's troop of kids is left. I can't play that in front of them, can I? I know Fagan Ray's probably shown him some far worse things, but
I'm sure he has.
I'm a bit more responsible than that.
What we got next?
Yeah, I think I'll give that a go.
Sorry.
If it's free. Oh yeah, you're in a rush here. Slow down and chew your food. This is the very last of the petty scripts. Next bit of news. Wonderful time ahead. The Wonderful 101 has its release date after reaching its crowdfunding numbers with ease. The action game from Platinum Studios will launch in North America on May 19th and Europe on the 22nd. Retail price is looking around the £40, $40 mark. Having played this on the Wii U, Tom can definitely recommend it, and those who haven't experienced it should probably give it a go.
Absolutely. Great little action game.
I'm going to swerve that like a load of barrels falling off the back of a lorry on the M25.
It's coming on PS4. You're not going to try that?
Not at all. No.
Unbelievable.
I don't play old games off the Wii U.
Touche.
Is that not coming to the Switch?
Yeah. It is. Did you... I'm not even going to mention them in the news, but...
We did an episode about how the Wii U was basically just donating all its good games that no one played to the Switch. Do you remember what that episode was called?
Murder of the Wii U, Suspect number 1, the Nintendo Switch.
Would you believe that's our most popular episode ever?
Is it?
Yes.
Huh. Not too shabby.
Not too shabby. Oh, what have you got for the next bit of news?
DJ Fuser is in the building. Publisher NCSoft and developer Harmonix of Rock Band fame have got a new game coming out this fall.
Wow.
It's called Fuser, and from the brief trailer the music sounds on point with Blue Oyster Cult mixed with some more modern tracks. The game is all about being a DJ, and it's going to allow you to create, mix and share music.
Do you think they're going to try and prise our mouths open and cram some kind of crazy peripheral?
Yeah.
What did you call them?
Peripherals.
Paraffle the rapperals.
Paraffle.
They're going to try and ram a paraffle rapper.
I don't know. I didn't really see anything obvious in the trailer.
I wonder if it's like the DJ Hero setup, but with the end pin change, so you can't use the old one. So you got to buy a new bit of tape.
Yeah, no doubt.
Under the stairs cupboard, so it falls on you when you get the Hoover out.
I think there's a lot of people who enjoy those sort of games though. I'm terrible at rhythm action, so I did not do well on.
That's. I like to think I'm good at it, but every time I try and play the Yakuza karaoke scenes, which is that, I'm all over the place.
You not tried Beat Saber then with a VR?
No.
Looks pretty tough.
No.
What we got next, dude? Just remember this one.
Well, yeah, you wrote the script this week, you wrote the news this week, and you put swear words in it, so I'm going to have to come up with something on the fly. So, built like a brick toilet house. A few new details are dropped about the new Xbox Series X, and it's looking like a monster. Features of the hardware include 12 teraflops of GPU power, which is twice the amount of the Xbox One X, variable rate shading, hardware accelerated ray tracing, Stingray's at it again.
He is.
Or Fagan Ray. He won't die, Tom. He's a long-time lover of this show now.
No doubt there will be artwork.
Quick resume for the multiple games, 120 frames per second, and a new function Microsoft has dubbed Smart Delivery. What's Smart Delivery then? Techno?
I don't know, dude. They haven't really said.
Yes, they have.
Have they?
Yes.
What does it do then?
If you buy a game on the Xbox One X,
Yeah.
and then that releases on the Xbox Series X, Smart Delivery will enable you to play the most advanced version of that
That's
game
fantastic.
on your current system. Ever the news hound, finder of facts, he puts it in the news and denies all knowledge that he ever knew anything about.
So that's obviously Cyberpunk's going to be one of the first that do that,
More than likely.
because I did read about that.
Oh, you've now put your hat on, have you?
I have, yeah.
The little
yeah, I
pork
just
pie hat
remembered
with
that.
the word press
Yeah.
tucked in the side of it.
Yeah.
Here he comes, look.
Hiya.
Barry Snippet.
Peter Parker.
Is Barry Snippet a new character?
Yeah, he runs a local paper, doesn't he? Farmerton Times.
Farmerton News.
Farmerton Times. It's classy.
Okay.
What's his name again? I've forgot it already.
Barry Snippet.
Barry Snippet. Whoops. Yeah, Barry Snippet.
Pork pie hat.
I can
Chasing
see him
down the
right
local news bit. He must be the guy who wrote the PCSO Ross Kemp story.
Rumour has it he chased Prince Harry out of the country.
Did he? Well, I think he caught Prince Harry buying a prawn ring from Farmerton Foods. Thank you to the community for the Farmerton Foods and the as ever, Tom. They got round one of my slip-ups and they came up with Clamond, Harkson and May. It's Theresa May.
It's pretty cool.
A clam and Stingray with a... That'll go up this weekend. We've got a few Farmerton Village updates. We've got Fagan Ray.
Yeah.
We've got the first gear, I think it was, ad or show. And I think we've also got a zoomed-in picture of Richard Clamond. Get ready for that.
Very good.
And Boba Loba was the latest member of the Inglorious Bar Stewards to be immortalised in print.
Yeah. So it pays to stick around with the show and join the Inglorious Bar Stewards.
If you want to,
the hardcore listeners.
If you want to, do you want to go 10 rounds with your mic this week?
I
or
know.
What's wrong with you?
I had too few many Centaurs.
Too few many.
Too few many.
Anyway, we've probably made enough of a mouthful of the news. Did we miss anything? Do you have an opinion or take on the news that we missed? What's the big game that's coming out? If we missed the stealth drop of Blood Roots, everyone's playing that right now and, telling us how boring we are because we don't even know it's coming out. How will they get in contact with us and let us know what a great little game that is?
You can direct messages on Instagram or Twitter, as a lot of you do, or you can email us, questions@unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com.
Wow. Well, Tom, that means we've surpassed the forest of doom, which is the news. We've meandered through the vine-ridden area that is the what you've been playing.
We have.
And we've arrived at the door to the feature. But you wanted to do a call to arms.
Yeah, we'll just do a little call to arms before this kicks off.
Make it a good one.
So the feature this week is about the history of the Nintendo Gamecube. What I'd like all the hardcore fans to do, and new listeners, if you could do this, it'd be awesome, is repost the show Instagram post, which will go out tomorrow or tonight. And just with a simple hashtag Gamecube. Okay.
They always listen to you.
Yeah.
That'll be about 2 of them doing it.
So that's going to help promote the show and the feature, and hopefully we can get some big Nintendo and GameCube fans tuning in to hear all about the feature.
Well, is it worthy? Well, we shall find out, Tom. It's time for the history of the GameCube feature. As always, to do the console justice, we head back in time. Thanks to the mystery of Stingrays X's Maestro Turbo. As always, it's a little bit muddy after came up with Trace Ray, but there you go. That's one of those things. To do so, we must descend down in the bunker. Tom, let's take the lift. If you are you in?
I am.
Put your hair in I don't want that getting trapped up on the top floor and then
Not again.
descending 4,000 floors and it getting ripped clean off your scalp. We can't afford for that to happen because your gaming knowledge has surpassed everything this week.
Scareface Egon Spengler.
The man of facts, yes. Fright features.
Fright features.
Yes. I was a big fan of the real Ghostbusters. I had all the toys. Scareface, yeah.
Yeah, but unlike you, I was a young child, so I won't remember, whereas you were 18.
I was 25.
Well,
Had all the toys, left them sealed.
Oof, money maker.
That's what I'm doing. You see, always one step
Be on
ahead of the game.
Be on the Antiques Roadshow next year.
Exactly. Apart from that time I came home and Mumsy was like, I've let him go in your bedroom, play with them Ghostbusters toys you're not bothered about, you've left in the box. No.
I think we've definitely reached the bottom of the...
No, we haven't got in the lift yet.
Have we not?
No, pull your hair in. I don't know what you've been doing this week. I don't know whether you've smeared creosote in your beard and therefore you're perpetually in some sort of fever dream. Pull your hair in.
Okay.
Now,
I'm in. I'm fully in now.
You're fully in. Arms, legs, the hair, everything. Okay. I feel safe. Get your nose in.
I don't usually shut the doors when I go down. That's why I thought we were moving.
No, you need to push the button. The one underneath the oil prospecting platform and the one above... and the one above
Fagin Ray's home for orphan boys.
Oh God, well, oof.
Yeah.
I don't like these references. I don't like these references on the show. I don't want you making references about young boys. It's nothing like you're thinking. It's not that, and it's certainly not that. Anyway, let's descend down. Push the button. Brilliant. Oh, I hear Lord Ponsonbury must have put some money in the show because we got lift music again.
Hey! Excellent.
I suppose
It's still on a loop though, isn't it?
that's what lift music is.
Wow, no, it's like a one-track loop. It's only one song.
Anyway, it stopped, the doors are popped, and there she is in front of us, resplendent in her burgundy glory. Tom, hang on. The Homer Simpson Mooney's back that you took out a few weeks ago because it wasn't era correct. It's back in there. It's very... What year did the Gamecube come out?
2001 and 2002.
Oh, look at him. Tattoo paid off.
Yeah.
That one he did with a compass and some ink that he got out of a Parker pen cartridge.
Absolutely.
Some people were unsure what it was, thought it was a bin. It's actually a Gamecube, his favourite console. Okay, let's get in. Does that Homer Mooney help with the time travel in any way?
No, but this rather fetching tartan throw provides all the speed we need.
Oh my goodness. Maybe we should dangle it over the front screen and shine lights through so it looks like we're going at ludicrous speed, like Spaceballs. Anyway, let's jump in, take a sip on the out-of-date McDonald's Coke under the back seat, and Tom, hit the blast process button.
What's blast processing?
The Sega Genesis has blast processing. Super Nintendo doesn't. So what's blast processing do?
Whoa! Oof. So that's what time travel feels like, Tom.
Yeah, rough ride.
Feels like being a Werther's original in Fagin Ray's mouth. Anyway, the year is 2002. Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park? Oh God, this weekend. Get your crayons out, Vince the Gamer and Adam the Artist. You're going to draw Linkin Park. Linkin Park would blare from the stereo and a young man's... Let's start again because they turned up for a proper professional history of. When we do the compendium, this will get edited out. The year is 2002. Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park blare from the stereo in a young man's room as he clears away a well-played Nintendo 64. Today is the day he's been waiting for, with his money from a part-time job squirreled away. He can't wait to hop on the bus to college. But today he won't be spending much time at college. Today is May 3rd, and he's on his way to pick up the Nintendo Gamecube on its EU release day. Who's this young man we're talking about? Whose room are we in right now? Because for the Mario Kart retrospective, we went to my teenage bedroom.
We are in my teenage bedroom.
What's as odd as been in your room?
He hasn't, no.
I just see that there's a couple of magazines escorting Fiesta. I know they were his previous rides, so I didn't know whether...
No, they're not car magazines.
Are they not car magazines? No. Okay.
Oh, man, I miss my, posters that I used to have on the walls.
I wondered where you were going to go with that.
Yeah. Lita from WWF. Who else did I have? Sarah Michelle Gellar from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
And China, Joni Lawler.
Did I?
Yes, you did. You
Rest
forget
in peace.
all the games.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
She still looks beautiful in the picture.
She does.
Yeah. I'll just wipe that off.
Okay.
So, as always, for the feature, we ask the listeners, the fans, in their assembled thousands out there, to comment in and get their own personal memories woven into the fabric of our history of shows.
First up, it's Retro Gamer Thomas. I only got a Gamecube about 6 years ago when I started collecting, and I must admit, I love it. There's some great titles on it, although I find they're starting to get very pricey now, especially with stores like CX wanting what they want for the games. But I have to say, Double Dash is my favourite. Sometimes playing that in my old game shed is my favourite Mario Kart out of all of them.
Would you agree with that, or do you just like 8 because it's the newest one?
I didn't play Double Dash a lot. I think it came out at a point where I was playing the PS2 a lot more. Because I'd go through phases of... I probably played more GameCube overall, but there was a lot of titles that he's now giving me the Pinocchio nose image for the
I
audio
want to sound
podcast.
cool and like I've always supported Nintendo, so I definitely didn't play PS2 more. Like, oh really? You spent more time on the Metal Gear Solid demo than you ever did on anything on the GameCube. Anyway, that's thank you for your comment, Retro Gamer Thomas. He's right. The GameCube is appreciating in price fast, and those games are stacking up very quickly.
Crazy
even
prices.
Even Need for Speed Underground 2 is going to cost you a pretty bit of change. Oh, hang on a minute. Pez 3.5 going dark in his COD night vision goggles. I'll lead in with him. He says, I still own one. Always loved playing Ocarina, Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, or playing Smash Bros. Melee with my cousin for hours on end. That helped me get a lot of Smash Brothers practice, which is why Tom just can't beat me at Ultimate now.
It's a sad fact.
He's lucky he gets to play games with a gaming celebrity like yourself.
Well, he is, yeah. You can too if
I don't want
you
to play
your
games.
Cards right.
I don't want to play games with you.
Okay.
Unless you win, you get very mardy. Mumsy comes in, she's like, let him win, just let him win one game. I'm like, right, okay. Put the controller down. No, make an effort. Like, right, okay, I'll move the controller around. It's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same.
Better than what you used to do, where you just pretend my controller was plugged in.
I know, but you felt like a proper big boy.
I did, yeah.
It's like when
the
Mumsy...
CPU playing like The Rock, just laying the smackdown on your character. Look at me, look, I'm so good at this.
I don't know if I'm the only person that this experience happened to. It's not an unplugged controller story, but it's when I used to go to the beach resorts or whatever with Mumsy and Dadsy, and you'd go in the arcade and they wouldn't give me any money, so I would go and like just move the stick around to the actions on the screen in the arcade game, like lift arms up, stretched up, touching the not touching them up, reaching up and touching the controls. I'm not touching this thing up, obviously, and then sort of wheeling around the controls and pressing the buttons, feeling like I remember Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, because you're obviously older than me, so I was only a young lad when that came out. And what else did we used to do? You'd get in the what game was it? Was it Super Thunderblade? You'd get in that and you'd be moving the chair around. That was awesome. And then one of the bigger boys would come with money and you'd be like, oh, sorry. And you'd get off and he'd put in 20p and he'd doing it all. And you'd be like looking at your mum, looking all sad face. Like, Mumsy, can I please have some money to play on it? Then you'd get on it and crash in the first 2 minutes. Mardy. Back to the feature, Tom.
Yeah. Well, going back to the history of the GameCube saw the long-standing company partner up with Artex for the aesthetic design of the new machine. It proved very striking when it launched in Japan on September the 14th, 2001, North America on November 18th, 2001. The rest of the world had to wait until 2002, though, for Nintendo's fourth traditional home console entry. It was codenamed the Dolphin in the early stages, and Nintendo was getting ready to enter the battle. The PlayStation 2 and Microsoft's original Xbox were already on the shelves, so the odds weren't really in Nintendo's favour. The graphical showcase Halo for Xbox and the PS2's ever-growing catalogue of games meant Nintendo had to come out swinging, and boy, they didn't disappoint, with one of the strongest launch lineups in ever, in our opinion. This included Luigi's Mansion, Wave Race Blue Storm, Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2, Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX, Super Monkey Ball, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, Crazy Taxi, Sonic Adventure 2, Burnout, and International Superstar Soccer 2. What do you think to that launch lineup?
Well, I think it's probably the strongest launch lineup in your opinion. I think it's made up a load of DC cast-offs, but, you know.
2. Was Monkey Ball Dreamcast? I don't think it was it?
I think it probably would have been if it stayed out
if it had been alive, but it died.
Well, that's not
Pillaged.
A bad launch lineup.
I think that's really strong. I think you've got so much covered there. You have got a bit of everything. The only thing it's probably missing is FPS, if you really want to be strict. And I think Halo really did carry the Xbox when it launched, like a few months before.
Project Gotham carried that console. That was a cracking game.
Anyway, it's time for another listener comment. Who we got, George?
Well, all the way from the sunny US of A, we've got the Chronicles of Gamer. He says, my girlfriend had one. It's in our house. The only game I played on it was Mario Strikers, and it was awesome.
Oh, it's a great game.
We had so many striker parties, it was great. I hope they release it on the Switch or make a new one. Yeah,
me too.
Just rehash it for the Switch Chronicles of Gamer, you know what they're like. I'll also wheel in with this one, the longest, most loyalist, most serviest fan of the show, the Barber Who Games. I didn't get my hands on a GameCube until around 2010. I remember waking up in a GameStop, walking into a GameStop and overhearing one of the employees say they had a GameCube that was defective and was about to be tossed. There's something very different here. So out of curiosity, I offered them $5 for it and they accepted it. I then proceeded to buy Smash Brothers Melee for $60. He says, sweating emoji. Totally worth it. Smiling with teeth emoji. And the GameCube worked too. Laughing till I cry emoji.
Yeah, very good. Bargain there, really.
Yeah, talking of bargains, Tom. Best thing about the GameCube, received a price cut before launch, knocking it down in the UK to an unbelievable £129.
That is cheap, isn't it? For a launch. Obviously, I remember the launch really well. We talked about it briefly at the start. I got on the bus, and or a few weeks before, I realised like how much it had been reduced to. And I was like, I'm going to be able to get another controller or another game. And
there's some serious confidence in your product.
Yeah, it was a strange decision, but definitely a welcome one for me.
Even though it's powerful, because it was such a small form factor. I think it kind of, and £129, kind of undersold itself, didn't it?
It's a good point, yeah. Maybe it made it seem a bit cheap and tacky.
Well, as you say, no wonder that young lad with his Lita posters and Joni Lawler posters was heading into town with a big grin on his face, going to get 4 games and an extra controller. The GameCube has started strong with 75,000 consoles sold over 2 days in the UK, dwarfing the PS2, which managed 40,000 in the same amount of time. During the GameCube era, we saw the sale of Rare to Microsoft, with Star Fox Adventures being the last game made for Nintendo by Rare. This seemed a strange move considering Rare had made some of the best-selling games on Nintendo's former console, the N64.
Yeah, it's a shame really, but I'm a fan of Star Fox Adventures. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I think it was really well made.
I thought it was good.
I think it's a little Zelda-esque in the format of it, but I really like the flying sections and the fact that you travel to a new planet and you're actually flying and fighting in the...
It wasn't going to be that though, was it? Till Mr. Miyamoto got involved and said, that character you've got for Dino Planet, like,
yeah,
looks like a fox. I want this to be a Star Fox game.
I think it's smart marketing. It may be, although maybe we'd be talking about Dino Planet like we talk about Jet Force Gemini and Banjo.
Jet Force Gemini is the best game they ever made. Best game they ever made.
Some may say.
Some might say. Who else we got, Tom? Who's
we've got
propping up to share a GameCube memory?
We've got Eslo and Midna. My first experience of the GameCube was when my housemate imported a Spice Orange Cube shortly after the Japanese launch, along with Luigi's Mansion, Wave Race, Blue Storm and Super Monkey Ball. All were great games, but it was Monkey Ball that caused us both to pull a week-long sickie, play all day and night till we completed it. I bought my own cube when it launched in the UK the following year. There are so many games on that system that still rank as some of the best of all time, such as Metroid Prime, Wind Waker, Smash Bros. Melee, Resident Evil 4 and F-Zero GX. Other old balls such as Pikmin 1 and 2, Eternal Darkness and Beautiful Joe are still great fun. What's more, the Wavebird controller was one of the first proper wireless pads and paved the way for modern controllers. Such a great system and in my opinion one of Nintendo's best ever. It crushed the PS2 at the time, plus it's got a handle so you can wield it as a weapon. More innovation. Great little comment. Thank you, Eslo and Midnight.
Well, while we're here, I'll dip in. We've had some late arrivals in the comments section. So we've got the muscle of the show. We can't ever forget the loyal Daddy Zilla and his clan. And I see Cara Zilla's had her stitches out. She's looking fit and healthy again after the scare that the Zilla's got. And I know if you're listening, Devin Zilla, and I know you are, you've recently had a pretty bad sore throat, but you've had some antibiotics and you're on the mend, and that's all great news. So Daddy Zilla found the time to say my fondest memory was back right around my earlier 20s, playing ATV2 with my buddy Jaeger and his girlfriend. Hello, if you're listening, Jaeger and his girlfriend. Wonder if they're still a thing.
Maybe.
Probably Mr. and Mrs. Jaeger now. We would just chill and have a few beers. We did this a lot, actually. Thank you, and Daddy Zilla for that one, and love to all the family. And obviously, he gets mentioned unless Tom gets his name wrong, and then we go a few episodes calling him an odd cat. But guess what? Odders. He gets a mention at the top of the show. He's gripped his wheel all the way to here, that knurled Mondeo wheel that he's got now. He says, I was on board with the GameCube since it was first unveiled. He is a proper fan of the Cube, Tom. You just park your bouffant down 1 minute, give your neck muscles a break. I was working full-time at a well-known sports clothing store at the time on the bountiful wage of £3.56 an hour.
Isn't that still the same wage there?
I pre-ordered it from Electronics Boutique. He thinks, with Luigi's Mansion and Rogue Squadron, of course, a memory card. How can we forget? Those consoles needed memory cards. I booked the day off work to go and collect it and was there for 9 a.m. The small compact box it was packed in was a far cry from the usual big boxes of previous consoles. Then opening the cases to see the tiny disc was amazing. The amazing feeling and wonderment was further felt when you saw how amazing the graphics were. That this tiny cube could put on such tiny discs, especially on Rogue Squadron with every detail, the Death Star surface clear to see. I still have my original GameCube to this day. It's a console that's introduced me to some amazing games, two of which are two of my all-time favourites, those being Pikmin and the Resident Evil remake, a game which took the original and improved on it in every way, especially with its amazing graphics. The Cube also gave us classics such as Mario Sunshine, Mario Kart Double Dash, Wind Waker, with its controversial art style which some people were not keen on. We must remember this, Tom. Beautiful Joe, Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem, which was my first experience of a true psychological horror, as the game messed with your head, making you think your memory card had been corrupted if your sanity meter dropped too low, and Resident Evil 4, which, as much people rave about it, I'm not keen on, because new and fresh as it was at the time, to me, it was the beginning of the end for traditional horror with the survival and any sense of tension and atmosphere. He's a man of taste and class, is Odders. I'm a big fan of his, and me of mine, he of mine. Yes, I've decided now.
You sure this isn't your online alter ego?
I wish he was.
Drives
I don't think
drives him on day.
Drives him on day, yeah.
Well,
yeah, you're right. I haven't finished yet.
He says more.
Of course he does. It's Odders. Well, that's what I was going to say. I wish I was this eloquent. And being replaced with the over-the-top action, quick-time events. Here, Odders. Yes. Thankfully, we now have returned to traditional survival horror, and long may it stay.
Okay. Very good. It's time for a
new listener. Now, Tom, this guy is responsible for the best review on iTunes. Tongue-in-cheek, 5 stars, exactly how we like it. And as I say, if he's still got the best review on iTunes come June, so therefore, this is a tip. Rush to iTunes and see if you can do a better review. 5 stars, slate us in the comments, we're not bothered. But the best one, come June, we'll read a selection of them out. The best one gets George's special prize. A little special community chest.
Ah, very nice.
Yes. What does the loyal Mr. Mystery say? And one more thing. Mr. Mystery reached out.
Yeah.
He joined Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
He waded in and got involved. And he's in now the Unglorious VIP message forum.
Is he? We're picking them up quick, aren't we?
He's been fully inducted in, and he's.
I think we need to start making it a little bit harder to get in there. Maybe an induction.
To be honest, when you've done everything Mr. Mystery's done for the show.
Well, he has, yeah.
Exactly. He said, make yourselves
Okay.
known. You know, Mr. Pumpkin's in there. Danny Plays was in there. Danny Plays is in there. Started speaking up, you know. All those that are in there, let your voice be heard. Don't let the bigger boys drown you out. Tell me what Mr. Mystery says.
He says, I got the Platinum Gamecube for my birthday a few years ago in spanking condition. And I have such great memories of it at launch. Internal Darkness, Gladius, which I got for Christmas this year. Jet Force Gemini. I think that one's an error. Mario Party 5 and Mario Kart Double Dash being some of my cherished gaming moments. None, however, can match Monday Night Golf Club, where all congregated around a friend's house to hook up a 4-player on Tiger Woods 04.
The best Tiger
Controller
Woods.
in. This is the best bit. This is actually when I read this, I thought that's up there for the comment of the month when we draw that out. Controller in hand and wearing a golfing glove each. Magic times.
No,
That's
you missed out. Why don't you read out the emojis?
No need for the emojis.
Laughing till I cry emoji. Do you know what that is?
That's the sort of thing we do.
I had some really great memories of Tiger Woods 04 on various different consoles. Gamecube,
I love a golf
PS2.
game when you got 4 of you like that. It's awesome.
It is. Thank you for that comment, Mr. Mystery. Let's wade back in through the unwashed clothes that cover your bedroom floor.
It's a mess in here, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It wasn't all bad though, as where some bonds were broken, others were forged, and Nintendo lauded a very lucrative deal. They struck up a partnership with gaming developer giant Capcom. Dubbed the Capcom 5, these games were PNN 03, Beautiful Joe, Killer 7, Dead Phoenix, and the critically acclaimed Resident Evil 4. These titles Nintendo hoped would shift consoles, and why they helped, unfortunately, many of these games came to release on the PlayStation 2.
More help for the GameCube arrived in the form of Retro Studios, who brought Nintendo's Metroid series kicking and screaming into 3D for the first time. Metroid Prime released on March 21st, 2003, and would become the first game in a trilogy for the lead character Samus Aran.
Here at Unofficial Controller, we consider it one of the best, if not the best game from Retro Studios. Still remains one of the highest Metacritic rated games of all time, and it didn't perform too shabby in sales wise either, with more than 1 million copies sold in North America alone.
Oh, the GameCube featured a number of accessories. Let's talk, hang on a minute, whoa, slow down. Let's massacate over that one for a moment. What did you, you're obviously a big fan of the Metroid Prime series. I remember a friend of mine when I was in the
Well, I remember
away from home phase back then, he had a GameCube with a screen.
Yeah.
A flip-up screen.
Uh-huh.
And he was playing this. I was like, what's that? What's this? What's this?
The first time you saw Metroid Prime, I brought it around yours.
No, it wasn't. The first time
Oh, it was
I saw
before
it
then?
was when my mate with the screen and the GameCube showed me it when we were away from home.
So you went from seeing it on that to seeing it on the big screen.
Yeah. And I have to admit, it's an impressive game. I
It
mean,
is,
I like some
yeah.
of the graphical effects of like the screen icing, and you could see a reflection of her face in her visor from
Yeah.
memory. Some
Yeah,
real clever touches.
Yeah, some really nice stuff in there. The way they transferred from 2D to 3D, obviously Metroid skipped out the N64 era, other than featuring in Super Smash Brothers. They did such a great job, like they've done with Zelda going from the 2D games to the 3D games. They really did the same with Metroid, and it was a brave decision to chuck it in that first person view. Obviously you can go into like the ball and scuttle around the map and stuff, which is pretty cool. But yeah, a phenomenal game, really enjoyable. I've never played the third in the trilogy though. Played the second one.
And you never will now.
Probably not, no.
Because it's old.
Yeah, there's talk of HD remasters for the Switch, but I just don't want too many remasters anyway.
Oh, well.
Not enough time.
The GameCube featured a number of accessories, including an ill-fated broadband adapter, which didn't work with much other than the port of the Dreamcast Phantasy Star Online. One that proved a bit popular was Nintendo's Wavebird, one of the first wireless controllers on the market, and championed the idea of wire-free gaming at an affordable cost.
Yeah, I thought I had one of those. I loved it. Thought it was brilliant. Lasted real well because it had the batteries and then the receiver was in the controller port. Just going back there to the broadband adapter, I had Phantasy Star Online for the Cube and I never took it online or anything. I just used to play it with my brother, like split screen co-op.
What a weirdo. To be honest, at that time in the bunker, there'd have been absolutely no way the internet was good enough. It's barely good enough now. It's 56k dial-up now.
Definitely. The GameCube's biggest selling game, however, would be Super Smash Bros. Melee, the multiplayer fighting game starring Nintendo's biggest mascots. Smash Bros. Really hit its stride with this version, and many hardcore fans consider it the series' best entry. Melee sold a staggering 7.9 million, came very shortly after the launch of the GameCube, and really helped show with the 4 controller ports, local multiplayer, this was going to be a console of choice for that.
Some would argue,
yeah,
based on the fact they've had to make a GameCube controller for every console since, that was the best controller they ever made.
I agree. I was thinking about this when I was penning the script, and I think.
Did you pen the script or did you dictate it to one of your lackeys?
Well, we'll not discuss that.
Laid down in a chaise lounge with your smoking jacket on, cigarette in one of those cigarette holders. Let me tell you the story of when I went to buy a GameCube.
You know me so well.
Mumsy, are you in the dining room? Yes, very good. Combing the very top of my bouffant.
Oh, there's a ghost in Luigi's Mansion who has like a massive bouffant.
Is that
It's
what
just
you
made
look
me
like
think-
2
yeah, it
days
is,
after a
yeah.
haircut?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Is there enough? Does the GameCube push enough polygons to accurately render your bouffant, or would it have to be
easily?
Wow, that would be.
But if you want that sucker in high resolution, you got to go Xbox Series X.
Is that right?
Yeah, for photorealism.
Even it's got smoke pouring out of it when they run the tech demo. Just you on a black screen with your hair wobbling 16,000 stories high.
Oh, GameCube controller anyway, yeah, the best ever.
I went through a phase of hating it. There was a... I'll tell you my GameCube memory if you like.
Yeah.
Because I had one. I've had one a couple of times. Got one now, actually.
Yeah.
And it's actually my friend's, who I'm going to talk about in a moment. It's his that he gave to me.
Ah.
Now, he had 2 games for his GameCube. Bad Boys, which was terrible.
The Will Smith like film.
So it never got played. And Need for Speed Underground 2.
Yeah.
And he was determined that he wouldn't buy a new game till we finished Need for Speed Underground 2. Get rolling! You know the tune?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I couldn't... He played it in the outside car view, like chase cam. And I couldn't play a racing game unless it was in bumper mode. So only... You can only see the track, nothing else.
Yeah.
And we... Oh, some of the time trials on there on like extreme hard difficulty, because it had to get finished in its absolute finest detail.
Okay.
He's very stubborn. He wanted to extract every penny out of this Need for Speed Underground 2. Get Rolling was emblazoned in my ears, burnt in like sun on my retinas, and we played the absolute wheels off of that game. I mean, some good memories. We had a great time, and I'm sure.
Yeah.
In fact, I know he's listening now, and he's probably thinking, yeah, I did punish him with that game. I did. Yes, I did. But some of the effects in that game that the Cube was doing, with the water on the track and the reflections and other bits and bobs, it did look good.
It was the best of the 3.
For an EA racing game.
I'll tell you.
It
It was better than Xbox.
Yeah, but he didn't have a hard drive, so he couldn't do big open areas like Morrowind to Halo, so it was dead to me.
Yeah, I'll give you that, because Morrowind is very different to like Wind Waker and stuff. They're quite condensed.
Wind Waker's like Fisher Price, my first RPG compared to Morrowind. True story.
True story, bro.
Who else? Oh, it's been a while. King Lizard, Tom. What's he got to say for himself?
I've only just got one this year. I was always too busy working on first release, but decided Gamecube for its catalogue. Have I misread something there?
No, I was just thinking, much like this show, he's on the white hot edge of gaming. He got a Gamecube this year.
Ah, he did.
Yeah.
Decided Gamecube for the catalogue of Resident Evil games and Star Wars Rogue Squadron titles, both classic series. I naturally purchased the Resident Evil 4 limited edition with the game for just £90-something. A bargain, as I've seen them sell for £150 to
Nice
£300.
work.
Yeah, I think he's done well there, hasn't he?
He's done very well, yeah.
Looking forward to building memories.
Praise be, hand emoji, fire emoji.
Next, we've got Finster Gamer, who
loyal
sadly
Finster
said,
Gamer, yeah.
I've never owned a GameCube, but tested a few in my time. All I know from working at CEX, other brands are available,
Finster Games in the Village.
covering himself,
Yeah, he is.
that the games are super expensive now, and it's hard to find a disc that doesn't look like someone has had at it with the sandpaper. Yeah,
Good old
apparently
Finster
they
Gamer.
get
There's
scuffed
someone who's got involved in the show and been woven into the very fabric of Farmerton and the lore of the show.
Speaking of the discs, though, one area we should discuss briefly is Nintendo's decision to switch from cartridge to disc. But as usual with Nintendo, is one step forward, two steps back.
8 back.
Yeah, pretty much. During the N64, PS1...
Start again. Put your teeth in. Here's some denture grip. I can do this if you want, because you've obviously confused yourself.
Okay.
During the N64 PS1 battle, many gamers loved the CD sound quality of the PS1 down to its use of discs. Games like Tony Hawk and numerous wrestling games are vastly superior in their sound quality to their N64 counterparts, due to Nintendo choosing cartridge over an optical disc.
So Nintendo obviously took heed of this, and when designing the GameCube, got electronics giant Panasonic to produce a smaller disc than that of the PlayStation 1 and 2. It is a well-known fact that the PS1 and 2 suffered greatly from piracy and modding, which would not be as easy with the small Panasonic disc Nintendo used, down to it being harder to burn to. With Nintendo thinking they were onto a winner, the PS2's DVD playing disc tray proved otherwise, and was a deciding factor for many gamers when choosing between both. Yeah, that DVD player really got a bit of a low blow on the old GameCube, didn't it?
Yeah. How many people do you think woke up Christmas morning with a PS2 and a wrapped copy of Gladiator on DVD?
Quite a few.
Here we go. Next, he's made himself known to us, hasn't he? Old C. Pliskin, the young buck, the young stud, scaring all the older big horns in town. He says to me, I never owned a GameCube. I was always a PS2 guy, so I did try out one at Dublin Comic Con where I played Melee and Double Dash, but didn't like the way the controls are designed. Yes, a man of taste and elegance. It's fair to say that I therefore have no worthwhile opinion for this topic. Well, don't let that be said, C. Pliskin, because you did. Who's next? Shall I do this one? Because I agree but don't agree. All of that, some of it.
Yeah, you take this one then.
Okay, let's just take a moment to pop the big man, because if you want to support the show and get involved in some of the artwork that's been created around mine and Tom's life in the real life village of Farmerton, close, where we've had Adam the artist immortalise some of the characters that live within the village of Farmerton. The many, the great and the few, and if you've listened to this show or any of the back catalogue, you're going to know who they are. Mumsy, Lord Pontypridd, Stingray, the newly arrived in the village but Naderwell, Fagin Ray.
I've already forgot the new character.
Barry Snippet.
Barry Snippet.
Barry Snippet, the news hound. I'm sure he'll be getting one. And obviously, if you get woven into the show and you become a real hardcore loyal fan of the show, you can get your own picture drawn. And
little avatar.
the best comment each month wins a t-shirt. Obviously, we've got the Man Who Finishes Games t-shirt, just the slogan and the show name, going very well at the moment.
Yeah.
Sold worldwide.
It has.
Yes. But you can also pick a print from Adam the Artist's Etsy shop. So even if it's not an official controller podcast, you can get Godzilla pictures, Transformer pictures,
Marvel
pictures, DC pictures, any
loads of good
geek-based stuff you can think of.
Yeah.
You go to Comic Pictures, no space on Etsy, or you contact me or Comic Pictures 79, me being Unofficial Controller Podcast, on Instagram or Twitter, or you hit up Comic Pictures 79 on Instagram. Anyway, enough of the cheap pops. He says, I had a Gamecube once. I liked Mario Sunshine, which in my opinion is one of the best Mario games, and I liked the first Luigi's Mansion as well. Wasn't too impressed with the Resident Evil on the train, and I thought while it started well, ultimately Wind Waker was a bit rubbish. It was a nice little console to be honest, but I never gave it another look when bigger boy stuff came along. Mind you, I can still hear the Delfino Plaza music in my head. Do you know what? Stop the show. I can agree with all of that. Some of that and all of that. Absolutely every single last word of it. That means there must be an apocalypse.
You a fan of Mario Sunshine?
A little bit. Wind Waker was a bit rubbish. Luigi's Mansion was okay. Bigger boy stuff came along. Happy days. The latest member of the community to get a drawing by the immortal Adam the Artist, who's probably with mine and his opinion aligning on the GameCube. Maybe that means Storm Jorge is going to rip the roof clean off. That's how you pronounce George, Spanish. Spanish Meteorological Office,
Jorge.
yes, has dubbed
a whore in the
this
hay.
Storm Jorge. Okay.
Okay.
We do have a Jorge that listens, actually. True story. Anyway, recently been immortalised, the latest person immortalised in print, Boba Loba. What does he have to say, Tom?
I never had a GameCube when it was current gen, but my girlfriend at the time had one. The only game I played on it was Resident Evil 4, with the impossible to use but super cool chainsaw controller. Brave man tackling
He's
that
got
game
about
with
6 arms, Boba
Yeah.
Loba is an octopus.
A few years ago, I spotted one for sale on Facebook for £50 with 2 controllers, a memory card, and a nice little stack of games. That kickstarted my retro collection. I've since learned that there were loads of great games that I missed out on back then, so my wish list is quite long. Of all the consoles I own, it's probably my favourite design, and the controller is second only to the Xbox Ones for comfort. Slightly weird button layout though. Mario Kart Double Dash is my favourite iteration of the series. Super Smash Bros. And Metroid Prime are now 2 of my favourite games of all time. It's a great console to collect for, although prices are relatively high. I'd love to get my hands on the orange controller because orange is the best colour.
Don't at me. What does that mean? He doesn't want anyone to tell him that they've got an orange controller?
I think he doesn't want anyone to disagree with orange is the best colour.
Ah, right. But he's ended with a purple heart. You think he might have gone with orange?
He might have done.
He's
Maybe the ink's gone a bit funny on the printer again.
Well, this is the printer they used to print the Farmington News, so one would hope not.
It's black and white though.
Anyway, you're at a cocktail party. We've got to that time. Obviously, we've run out of facts. So you're at a cocktail party and someone's come up to you and says they like GameCube too. Well, that's when you hit them up with our top 10 GameCube games. Prove you can hold your own with the bigger boys.
First up, we've got Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2,
Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess,
Super Mario Sunshine,
Metroid Prime,
Resident Evil 4,
Legend of Zelda Wind Waker,
Pikmin 2,
Super Smash Bros. Melee,
F-Zero GX,
and Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes, the Metal Gear Solid remake. Also, while you're at it, pick yourself up a couple of memory cards and an extra controller because the Cube was all about local multiplayer. How did you connect yours to the TV? Just the yellow wire, Tom? Were you that kind of guy?
Yeah. No. I did into a SCART.
Full RGB SCART. I recommend anyone who's listening. In fact, they're very expensive, but Nintendo did a component cable for that, didn't they, from memory?
I'm not 100% sure, but I do know we've had a lot of fan feedback, and the best way to play GameCube games is on the Wii, because you can run at 480p, I think is the max.
Yeah, with the component cables.
Yeah. So that's about the
component cables.
Yeah, so it's not directly. It's annoying because you'd probably want to play it in the cube and have the full retro experience. But if you really want to play them in the best resolution, you're best off playing them on the Wii.
Flick that rather annoying and weak lid off the top of the Wii, and there, spread eagled.
Whoa. I'll have a lot of things said, but Nintendo's build quality, always awesome. Microsoft, on the other hand, is a big pile of old steaming muck.
Find me a second-hand Wii that has got one of those flaps still on it.
Mine would have done. Find me a second-hand 360 that isn't one stage away from the red rings of death.
Thing is, though, for the price they are, you could buy 10 and play Russian.
That's because they had to make so many.
Play Russian roulette. We need to discuss those games.
Very briefly, yeah.
Pick a favourite out of that top 10.
Oh, no, that's really tough.
Just pick a favourite. You're going to a desert island. You're trying to show the man at the cocktail party that you know about GameCube.
Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, obviously. It's close, though.
I think
that was the bigger boy Zelda after the Wind Waker. And I do like the Wind Waker, but it's just... Twilight Princess is the one everyone wanted.
Rogue Squadron 2.
Yeah, great game.
I remember back when I had an N64, the wife at the time was at uni, and I went and used the IT suite and got online, and I was watching this sneak peek of this tech demo showcasing what Nintendo's next console would be like, because they were working on this GameCube for quite some time.
Yeah, they were.
And I remember watching this trailer on RGN. It was probably like, well, it was not a trailer, it was like a gameplay video.
I think it was probably Space World 2000. Like Nintendo used to do a show for themselves called Space World, and it's probably where that was footage.
Well, the video was on a player that allowed you to see it at something. It was like 5 centimeters by 5 centimeters, and I remember looking at it thinking, that looks just like Return of the Jedi, because it was that level.
Yeah.
Graphics can't get any better than this. They can't get any better than this. I mean, that's something we say every generation.
It is, but I don't know. Like, I hope next gen proves me wrong and is a big leap. But
someone pass me my binoculars. Tom, I'm not being funny, but that's the lesser spotted warbled throat-bearer thrush, nestled 16 foot up in your bouffant. Looks like it's making a nest.
It's nesting season.
Okay, so you've decided, amongst nothing else, that the best way to play a cube is on the Wii.
Yeah, if you want the resolution. And you can use the GameCube controller as well, obviously.
Have you not got a Wii snicking around in your side of the bunker somewhere?
I bet you can pick them up cheaper than you can pick a cube up there as well.
Probably. Well, they made enough of them.
They did.
I think the front retaining wall of the bunker's built from decomposing Wii's.
It certainly is.
So as we close out, think back to the young lad on his way home from college with a whole bag of GameCube goodness, proving yet again console launch day feelings don't come much better than this one.
I've got to say, that night, obviously, that afternoon I got back and I obviously skipped half a day of college. Got back and I was itching to play it. Plugged it all in. Just played through all 4 of the games I got, like just trying each one out, amazed at the graphics. And then I went to a house party, and like being that age, I was like, oh yeah, house party, that'd be great, awesome. Well, I was there for like 2 hours, and I was like, I'm gonna walk home. I want to be fighting with Luke Skywalker doing the trench run.
How many beers did you consume in those 2 hours?
Just a couple, and I'd had enough. I wanted to be back home.
How far away from the bunker was it?
About 1.5 miles. Hungry for that launch day console.
Was it another cousin's party, or was it?
I went with other cousin, and we went there, and he was like, I'm staying the night, and I was like, oh, okay, and I was like, well, I'm gonna go back and play some GameCube.
Wow,
like the nerd I am.
I think retrospectively, other cousin probably ended up having the better night. Anyway,
some would say.
We've been inundated with fan feedback, so we've got a load of listener memories, new listeners, welcome back to old friends, and consistent contributors. Yeah, there's a stack load of memories here. So the GameCube's is evoked some emotion here, Tom.
I think this is the most amount of comments we've had for a console retrospective, isn't it?
I think they knew that you were getting all Shakespearean on it. They wanted to see what the Buffon could bring out.
And hopefully I've disappointed them greatly.
Oh, well, you know, they've just listened for their shout-out. Retro Collector Ray, first with his hand in the air, and welcome back to the feature, Retro Collector Ray. I hope you're doing well. He says, my cube is the one I bought on release day. He had that release day vibe.
I have got mine in the loft.
You kept it?
Yeah, but I've got no leads or anything for it. It's just in there with a copy of Double Dash in the disc tray. That I never had, but my brother then bought it and said, can I use your GameCube to play Double Dash? Very bizarre.
Anyway, he says he's got his one from the release date. It's day one that I got with Road Squadron. The day it came out, I was in work and I left to collect to go to this. Sorry, Retro Collector Ray, my denture grip has failed me. The day it came out, I was in work and I left store to go collect it and played it all day. Not a massive thing, other than I was the manager of a shop and pretty much left the staff to do what they wanted all day. Lol, great memories.
Good lad.
Winking with my tongue hanging out twice emoji.
Get switched on, welcome
Hang
back.
on, we have to say get switched on. We were having some Instagram issues, weren't we, this week?
Oh, we were, yeah.
And get
big
switched
thank you.
on. He put a shift in for us on Instagram, didn't he? Pumping
He
the
did.
show, spreading the name, spreading the word. We thank you for that, sir.
Yeah.
Very, very grateful to you.
Thank you
for
very
that.
much.
What's his GameCube memory, Tom?
The GameCube was such an amazing console. My favourite game was Wind Waker, followed by classics like Metroid Prime, Pikmin and Wave Race. Sadly, as much as I tried, I could never get into Mario Sunshine. Hopefully one day it'll be remastered and can finally enjoy it.
Thank you, get switched on. Josh Joy-Con, new listener.
He says, I'll be honest, I missed out on the PS2, but having a GameCube was pretty great. Still remember having Smash Bros. Melee, Capcom vs SNK 2, Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, Sonic Mega Collection, Sonic Gems Collection, Marvel Nemesis, Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure, and Dragon Ball Z Budokai. I know I was one of those weird kids who didn't have Mario Sunshine or Zelda Wind Waker, not because I didn't want them, but we were poor at the time, so I played other games through Blockbuster or demo kiosk at Toys R Us. For what it's worth, the GameCube has held up pretty well as an old school console, and you can still go back and play these. Plus there are a lot of games I missed out on, so it's worth revisiting. Still played my GameCube even in the Wii era, but by that time it finally died and I was very sad.
Thank you for
Nice comment.
joining us in the welcome to the family, Josh Joy-Con. Welcome to the family. Up next we've got Dubai Jim living it up over there, sunning himself.
Player.
Still living pretty off talking a kid out of a Mega Drive or a Game Gear. I can't remember whichever it was in the playground. And didn't Dubai Jim, didn't my memory serve me correct that his parents owned a video shop? Video rental store? Or have I been at the creosote again?
I think you've been at the creosote.
Loyal fans get in contact with me. Dubai Jim, slide in the DMs and let me know I was right or wrong on that one. What can I say about the portable console that was actually a pain in the bottom to carry to your mate's house in a carrier bag than a Dreamcast was? Home of arguably the worst Mario game out there. Yes, even compared to the dodgy ones on the Philips CDI. He goes on to mention Wind Waker. I've had a problem with the open water or cell shading style. I adorned losing hours at sea in the game, now rightly considered a classic. Metroid Prime, just wow, how to reinvent a franchise and effectively template for modern day first person open world shooters. Road Squadron, well, who didn't want to, and made a change from updating our old 486 to play X-Wing in a more arcade fashion, a fond part of computers past through those rose tinted specs.
We've got another
new listener.
Captain Cole 25. I have so many great memories with the GameCube, I don't know where to begin telling my story. Could probably start with my first two games, which were Mario Kart Double Dash, Mario Party 5, in which I greatly enjoyed playing a lot. Then my library really started to grow as I played many good games such as Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, Super Mario Sunshine, Metroid Prime, Sonic Heroes, F-Zero, Super Smash Bros. Melee, to name a few. And I also had the Wavebird controller, which is wireless, and I absolutely love that feature. What I love about all these games is that to me they are timeless and I can go back any time to play them and still have a good time and it brings me some nostalgia. They don't even need to be remastered. GameCube will always have a special place in my heart.
Okay. Up next, CJ Nintendo, a gaming couple from Instagram. Nice followers of the show. Really lovely people as well.
Yeah.
So thank you for reaching out with your GameCube memory. Honestly, the GameCube is one of my top 3 favourite consoles.
Same.
It's basically my whole childhood. It has some of the most amazing games on it from my favourite franchises like Wind Waker, Sonic Heroes, my favourite Mario Kart game Double Dash, but also my 2 favourite Mario games ever, which are Paper Mario and Super Mario Sunshine. Metroid Prime first gets me into the series and still think it's one of the best in the franchise, but most of all that trumps everything else. In fact, that we have Twilight Princess on it, which is one of my favourite games ever. So nostalgic and dark, and I purposely never bought it on another console because nothing will beat the GameCube version. Heart, 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 descending upon one's own heart emoji. Such a great special console alongside the N64.
Nice comment.
Yeah, very nice.
Tech Mike Reviews next. Welcome back. The GameCube has such great memories for me, and had some of my favourite games like Zelda Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, Mario Sunshine, Luigi's Mansion, and so much more. This was actually the first system I bought all by myself, and I felt so proud. Also, side story, when I bought this, my mum was painting the basements, and now when I smell fresh paint, I think of the GameCube and instantly want to play.
That's great, Tech Mart Reviews. They're the sort of memories we love, aren't they?
Very good.
Another listener that's voiced their opinion on this show that we've not heard of for a while. The Gamers Bermuda. Oh man, that was my shizzle. Again, my parents always tried to be the best by me, even with low funds. I asked them for a GameCube, and I only had the movie tie-in game Spider-Man 1. Then we went to GameStop, and they bought me 2 of the big 3, Super Mario Sunshine and Metroid Prime. And to top it off, they got me Super Smash Bros. Melee. Oh, crikey, that was a
You
good...
sat there for months, aren't you, of entertainment?
I say that was a day to remember for Gaming
Yeah.
Bermuda. That was pretty much a childhood's worth of gaming. I was no more than 7 years old, so those games were difficult, but I eventually came back to them. That's a testament to how great those games were. Sending us to the bridge, someone else we've not heard of from a while, but there's a man here. He's a big time Resident Evil fan. Tom, what's he got to say for himself?
David Bones, GameCube is one of my favourite consoles. I got it as a gift with Soul Calibur 2 and Resident Evil. It's my favourite console to play Resident Evil on. Also has my favourite controller and the Game Boy Advance player peripheral.
Oh, you didn't mention that. Great way of playing the
No,
Advance.
I was going to touch on it, but I went for sort of the Wavebird instead. But yeah, I never had one. I think it was quite good, but it pixelated a lot of the images, obviously blowing up on a massive TV screen. But a good idea, nonetheless. I think, in closing, to me, that's the best console they've ever done.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's bold.
Yeah, it is. I just think the software they put out, the actual machine, like the Switch is a brilliant idea, but I think the Cube overall is the best they've done. Not the best selling, but certainly, in my opinion,
Wow, okay.
my most favourite.
Well, let's get to the bit that everyone actually cares about at the show. Just listen to Stingray. When the big man makes a house call, you'd better be ready. These guys got in touch to show us their pickups from Stingrays Boot. You can too. Just hashtag Stingrays Boot on Instagram or Twitter, or email us questions at unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com. If you are too young to have social media, send us an email of your pickups, and we will make sure they get featured on the show, like we do with some of the younger listeners. Tom, how do they get to follow us as we talk about this? What do? They go to Instagram.
Yeah, you
Go to the little magnifying glass at the bottom. They type in hashtag Stingrays Boot.
must remember to click recent though.
Yes.
Not top.
And let's face it, we'll take anything. You put hashtag Stingrays Boot, and we'll have a look at it in this section. We've
No
even
multiple
had-
readouts, so.
Just calm down. It's always straight in with that, isn't he? No multiple readouts. Then he breaks the rules himself. Them's the rules and breaks the rules. We've had all sorts in here, haven't we? From Pumpo Fonks to
Richard Clamond.
Richard Clamond and beyond. First up, Daddy Zilla. What's he cooking up there, Tom?
838 degrees of pure rockstar goodness, Bully Scholarship Edition, and he's picked that up for $9.66.
Wow,
bargain.
it's on the Xbox One. That's an interesting box, isn't it? Xbox One
Yeah.
360. Interesting. Never seen that.
Looks like a cut and shut.
Does a little bit, doesn't it? One of Stingray's classics. Here he is, Bobaloba, proudly reposting his artwork of himself that Adam the artist has done. And Bobaloba seems to be the unglorious bar steward's transportation expert. Again, head over to our Instagram page if you want to see what some of the people in our village look like, or the listeners' artwork.
Yeah. We've got Sega Junkie next. Got
an HL96.
Yeah, it's got some EA Sports titles for the Mega Drive. Nice.
Mark.garage.gamers. He's got the Bioshock Brady Games Guide. Daddy Zilla will like this. He's got Godzilla on the PS2.
Yeah.
Devin Zilla will be keen as well. He's got Mario Kart Advance on the GBA. Is that Golden Sun on the bottom right? No. Magical Quest 2. Garfield. Always going to get a cheap pop out of me if you got Garfield.
Got quite a good little book there, Retro Game in a Bite-Sized History of Video Games.
It's the other book holding up your games collection.
It is. Ozcat TV.
Hang on a minute. He's got Shadow the Hedgehog. I didn't know Far Cry came out for the Wii. I bet that's a bundle of laughs, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
And what's this Miss Pac-Man on the PS1? Maze Madness. Yeah, a little bit of Miss Pac-Man. Ozcat TV's got some Pumpo Fonks, Animaniacs. They're cool ones to have, aren't they? Dot, Yakko, and Wacko. They actually look quite cool.
Trident Edge.
Oh, look at this.
What is this all about?
Well, Trident Edge is one of our French listeners, is he not? And he says, Sunday, March the 1st, great event on our YouTube channel. A video will be offered you to pay tribute to the Sega Vid 2. Soon gone. Don't miss it.
Nice. Go check that out.
My Gaming Space. He's got a Hallmark card studio for the PC, I presume. He's also, Adam the artist will be inspired by this. He's also got Jungle Strike and Desert Strike on the PC. He's also got a copy of Half-Life with your phone number scratched on the front of it.
Oh, no.
570372. Have a little guess of the sort, it's STD code, and you'll be right there. I'm going to like that. Nice. He says, I'm back. Been sorting out some stuff in the basement, and I found those retro games and software. In fact, I challenge anyone to ring 01522 570372 and let them know the Unofficial Controller podcast said hi. Retro Gamer Thomas, what's he got?
Got himself some NES Converse.
The beautiful Donna has ordered and supplied him with some NES Converse shoes. It's very nice, isn't it? They're very cool looking things.
Very dapper.
Well done, Donna. Retro Gamer Thomas, you're lying there. She's got the massage oil in on your shoulders. You've got the face mask decoupled. PCSO Ross Kemp says suitable distance away as not to interfere with the marital activity that's going on. She's poured you a craft ale at the correct temperature, sat in a PlayStation trophy class, just bubbles simmering to the top, and she's giving you a massage as you devour another episode of the Unofficial Controller podcast. She's a good wife. I'm going to like that picture. I tell you what, I like that rug that they're on as well, like that deep pile rug that they're splayed out on.
Harvey Retro. He's got a VHS of Critters.
No. You can do multiple readouts of Daddy's Illness.
We can't do multiple
the small
readouts.
print of your contract. Lord Ponsonby did it. It's 736 degrees, Tom, and he's cooked up some NES carts. I don't know what they are though. Friday the 13th, Power Rangers. The muscle of the show. He's going to come over to Farmerton on a plane, and he's going to snap you in three. Harvey Retro. He's lobbed the VHS in. He knows what we're all about. Critters. That was one of those videos at Village Video that I used to look at and be intrigued by, because it was a cartoon, which is meant to be for kids. You know, the box art?
Yeah.
But then you'd look at it and you'd also be scared. Talking to Eslo and Midner. I think Eslo and Midner is getting very close to know where Farmerton is, because he slid in my DMs and he was like, you mentioned Village Video the other day. I know where that was.
Ooh.
All he needs to do is close his eyes, spin round twice, jump up in the air,
walk in an easterly direction.
With the
wind behind them.
With the wind behind him while sucking discreetly on a sherbet lemon. Nothing that Fagan Ray gave him. What's up? You want to go? No, you can't.
Comic Picture 79. Got some Harley Quinn merch. A Catwoman figurine. Very nice.
I like it. Retro Collector Ray.
Yeah.
He's in the feature. He's double dipping this week. He's in the feature. He's in the boot. He's got Ghouls and Ghosts on the Game Boy Advance.
Nice box art on that.
Box mint complete. Look out. Got the instructions. He's got the baggie. Oh, skip to his next picture, Tom. This, listeners, if you want to go, if you want to circumnavigate Tom's no double readouts, do what Retro Collector Ray did. Load up a collage. You know, the ones with the little buttons underneath you have to scroll through? Because he's got F1 Race. Now, that was a game that launched. Look at this, Tom. You're going to learn something here. This was one game that supported the Game Boy's multi-tap.
Never even knew it had one.
Oh, dear. He's got enough gaming knowledge to do a podcast. He didn't know about that. Like, launch game for the multi-tap. Ozcat's got the card.
And we've had him. OG Gamers next 550.
mark.garage.gamers got. Oh, it's a Call of Duty post. Surely you're all over
No,
that.
no. Keep moving.
No, can we please just take a moment to look at the
I did see it.
toy?
I did see it. I have actually liked that as well.
I haven't liked it.
Wow,
So
you
he's
call
just gone
yourself
up.
a fan of Call of Duty?
He's now well, I'm not a fan of Call of Duty. He's now on 77 likes. That's a cheap pop. OG Gamer.
I think one day we should do like a live like. Okay,
That's
we'll
what I
do it
just
now.
did.
No, hear me out. We'll do it now. We're gonna boost.
by 2.
No, because everyone's listening. Remember,
Oh yeah.
we're gonna boost old Harvey Retro because he's done a lot for the show.
Okay, so you're gonna boost his Critters picture. Everyone get on. He's
Okay.
had 202 likes as it is.
Give him some more.
More. Okay. Even more.
He's offering me cash in hand work for some of his.
Oh, this is how you get
Some
money
of
on
his
the side
sound
now. You've
overs.
actually started getting the listeners' arms up their backs.
Yeah.
I don't think you need any more money.
Always
Lord
need more.
Ponsonbury did a check in the village the other day, and you're now in the top 10 richest people in the village.
Whoa. Awesome. I won't stop till I'm number 1. Okay, so everyone, live like Harvey Retro. Critters.
OG
VHS.
Gamer, which post? Let's do his Sean White. Let's do that one. So he's got Sean White snowboarding on the PS3. He's also got it on the Nintendo DS. So remember, multiple pictures on one post, listeners. That's how we're going to beat Tom at his own
is
game.
it? Yeah, very clever.
Here he is. This is one that everyone listens in for every week. Let's summon him from the ground with his retro tat. Sharaban. What's he got here? PC Engine. Wow.
It's a bizarre looking thing.
I tell you what, that shuttle PC Engine looks like if you sprayed it grey and stuck lights in it, it could be a star summing off Enterprise or Star Trek. Absolutely.
Looks a little bit like that Manta Force ship as well. That will add all the other little.
Absolutely nailed it. And there's
add all
me
the
on
other shit.
Enterprise. Yeah, the best Star Trek show ever made. Geek.
Game Racer.
Yeah, Manx TT on the Sega Saturn. That's playable with the steering wheel adapter as well. Don't know quite why you'd play a motorbike game like that, but there you go.
Press Start Gaming. Got plenty of pickups there.
Oh, Harvey Retro's done his hair.
Well, he can't have multiple readouts and a live like.
Well, that's the one that needed live likes. It's only got 52 likes.
Never mind.
It's nice to see Mr. C is following Harvey Retro now. I like that. I'll see how the listeners have all connected together. I hope you well, Mr. C.
Ready to overthrow us in the bunker. We need to be ready.
I need to go and see Mr. C soon. Talk games again.
Okay.
Very enjoyable.
Final Fantasy X2, Press Start Gaming's picked up, along with Bulletstorm, Morrowind, Dead Rising, a few other titles on there. Retro.
Morrowind Remake, is that Morrowind?
I think it's
the online edition, isn't
Yeah.
it, for Xbox One? He's also got a UMD of Crash Racing. Gets a cheap pot from me every time. Dead Rising on the 360. Did you have that back in the day?
Yeah.
Quite like that.
Yeah,
game.
it's quite good, that.
It was.
Retro Visions.
Got another Nick Game. Bless him. Every
Yeah.
week he puts something in. I call it a Nick Game. I'm a horrible man.
You are.
You're the heel of the show. I'm the
I am.
baby face. Maybe you should start saying Nick Combe.
I shall. Trident Edge.
He's been in. I mean, I don't want to quote you on your own
Oh, has he?
rules.
Right, no, skipping that.
Oh,
Game Racer, they've been
we'll
in.
like it anyway, though. That's the rules. You got to like it. Game Racer's got an Amiga. I know he's
The
been
Bar
in.
Brew Games.
Oh, the longest, most loyalist.
Beautiful Joe on the
service.
DS. Mega Man on the DS. Sega Saturn game there. What's that? Oasis.
Yeah.
The Legend of Oasis.
Yeah, that's.
Starring Noel and Liam.
I do actually think that's a sequel to
Wonderwall.
Legend of Thor, Story of Thor.
Oh, okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, listeners. I might be going way off.
Comic Pictures put up some artwork of Farmerton Foods
You get the quality you pay for. That's what
with
the
Harks and Clamond and May.
Harks and Clement. This is one reason why they need to follow Comic Pictures 79 and they need to come check Instagram posts out. I'll tell you what, Adam the artist is very much becoming Jim will paint it of the show, isn't it?
He is. That's what I thought of when I saw that.
That's absolutely cracking. Because look at the detail on the first gear poster as well. Presented by Harks and Clamond and May, featuring the Sting. And if you zoom in even further, it says, disclaimer, activities funded by the Lord Ponsonbury Estate and Ponsonbury reserves the right to amend or change anything he chooses regarding the programme of events. Every detail covered.
I think we're at the turn of the wheel.
Comic pictures. That was when the show was banned from Instagram and all the loyal fans were doing their thing to push the show.
Rallied to our aid, didn't they?
They did. Like good eggs. I'm liking
Cheers,
still.
boys.
Right. Is that it, Tom?
It's the turn of the wheel. It's
Well.
crashed. The boot's shut.
Stingray's disappeared from his worldwide tour. That's all the dips in the boot for our listeners. Don't forget to hashtag Stingray's boot or email us for your pickups to be read out. Now, Tom. Reorganising my script like a newsreader without a teleprompter. In fact, they have bits of paper even though they've got a teleprompter. Strange.
Very
Answer me
strange.
that riddle. What's he been doing this week, Ode Stingers?
He has been buying GameCube handles. But he's like doing one of those things where it's like one of those pop-up shops that become popular for a few years and then they go again.
Yeah.
So what he does, gets the GameCube handle, maybe puts a few little sequins on there or like reflective strip, customising it, making it personal.
What do people do with
Some
these?
badly like sort of photoshopped picture of a dog.
I wondered if he might, instead of doing that, he might actually sell them as like a weight, because the cube weighed a lot, but the handle made it so it was very light.
Dumbbells.
Yeah. Or I wonder if he like uses these like a QVC style, where it says you can attach this GameCube handle to anything, a ton of sand, and you can just pick it up, dead easy.
Yeah.
Gets people gathered round. He gets Wayne Ray lifting up something that like it's a box of card, but it's actually got nothing in it, but it says like 1,000 tons on the side of it, and Wayne Ray picks it up. And maybe Stingray, even though he doesn't talk,
The Del Boy sales
because he's
pitch.
mysterious, he's got one of those headsets on. And
Yeah.
He's giving it the, come on, gather round, Mumsy, gather round. That's right. Yeah, you need one of these, love. Yeah, that's what you need. Stick it on your cleaning gear. Pick it up. Look at that. Wayne Ray. He's a midget, but he can pick it up. Oh, is that the right word? I don't know. To dwarf. He's a small person. He's a small person. We'll leave that.
No
in.
one minds. It's fine.
Well, they might. They might. One of those listeners that we think is a child, we might have mistaken for an author.
Let's move on. It's time for a peek in what we affectionately call Stingray's boot.
Oh, God.
What's nestled between some
God.
counterfeit nappies and a dodgy copy of Battlefriend or this week?
I'm looking for his grimmest hands, fingers.
So these are the new release highlights for this week, February 24th to March 1st, 2020. Listeners, these are out on digital or physical, or will be by the time this podcast is in your feed, but could be region dependent.
This is now the cursed show.
Yeah.
Cursed images. This show is cursed.
What we got first?
Oh, well, here's one for James, the work experience boy. If he doesn't stop playing Fortnite, he's going to be getting Mathland on the Switch, February 24th. Educational video game for kids. Improve your mathematical level in addition, subtraction, and multiplication. It's not just a math app. This is on the Switch, Tom. This is the levels the Switch has plumbed to. It's a real educational adventure. An evil pirate, Max, has stolen the sacred gems and has cursed islands, filling them with obstacles and traps. Help Ray. What? Our pirate. Find the gems and restore the natural order of things. Navigate your ship through the seas to get them, but remember you'll need a spyglass to discover new islands. Solve fun maths games to get them. Addition, subtraction, numbering, multiplication tables, and division. The islanders need you. Is that your mummy?
No. Next up, we've got Famida PC, February 25th. Judge Simulator 2020 with plenty of moral dilemmas. Play the role of Judge Demion Marduk and investigate the disappearance of your father during the last revolution, set in a dystopian state with a post-World War II level of tech and neo-noir aesthetics.
Have you heard about the DLC for that already?
No.
Retro versus Modern Farmerton Edition. Be Lord Ponsonbury and decide in the heated court battle about retro versus modern gaming.
Have we got the title of the game right there when it says Famida?
Well, just go with it.
Okay.
Yeah. James, work experience boy, works very hard to find the write-ups in some of these very obscure games.
Okay.
That's what it said. What's your favourite episode we've ever done? Give the listeners something to go back and listen to that might have just joined us.
Can't bring myself to say it.
What? Backlog of Shame?
No.
No? What?
We'll not send them there. I think the original PlayStation's one of our best episodes.
You like that one?
Yeah, I think that went well.
Yeah. What else did we do that was good? We're struggling here, aren't we?
Well, the listeners will let us know.
We've done a lot though.
Usually we know by the amount of listeners they've got.
I'll tell you one that's done remarkably well recently. The one when we had the special guest, when we had Tom from Gotham Games on.
Great episode.
That was a great episode. Little bit, we were outside the bunker, so it was a bit wilder. And Gotham Games is large, echoey chamber, so it was a bit bizarre and cold, wasn't it? But it formulated a real belter of a show. Any of our history obs are a good thing to go to, aren't they?
Yeah, go check them out. What we got next on the new releases?
Mega
Mega Man Zero ZX Legacy Collection for the PC,
cursed show.
PS4, Xbox and Switch, February 25th. Mega Man Zero ZX Legacy Collection brings together 6 classic titles in one game. Mega Man Zero 1, 2, 3 and 4, as well as Mega Man ZX and ZX Advent. The collection also features Z Chaser, an exclusive new mode created just for this set of games.
Let me tell you one thing. I'll tell you one of our most popular history ofs. More popular than the history of the PlayStation, believe it or not. And if only this console had done so well when it was first out, history of the Sega Saturn's done more numbers than the history of the PlayStation.
Yeah, maybe people look at something more obscure to collect for.
Yeah, that's certainly a console to collect for. Samurai Showdown on the Switch, next game out the boot, February 25th. Samurai Showdown has enjoyed worldwide success as a blade-wielding fighting game series since its first release in 1993. 11 years have passed since the last game series installment. It's now time for Samurai Showdown to return in a brand new game featuring high-end visuals and gameplay, faithfully reproducing the game mechanics and atmosphere that contributed to the success of the series. Samurai Showdown includes a revolutionary feature that learns players' game actions and patterns in order to create CPU-controlled ghost characters. With its story set 1 year before the very first installment, warriors and combatants from various backgrounds and with their own goals are about to battle to fulfill their destinies. Tom, have you got a mummy picked out?
I have.
Okay. I don't know what mine is, but have you got a VHS ready to go?
Nope. I'll have to think of one.
I've got one. I've got the very first Austin Powers, Man of Mystery. That's mine. So,
that was another poster in the old Gamecube days up on the wall.
Was it?
Heather Graham from the second Austin Powers film.
Who was the fun in the first one?
Liz Hurley.
Liz Hurley, yes,
Yeah.
of course, yes.
And the third, I think, was Beyonce. Next up, we've got Spitlings on the Stadia, February 25th.
Champion to the most powerful console on Earth.
Spitlings is a cute but hardcore arcade game that's made to be played with friends. Over 100 levels to start with. Will make sure you never run out of challenges. Keep playing to unlock new music tracks, new characters to play with, new visual themes for certain levels. The multiplayer is cooperative to the full extent. If one player fails, everyone has to restart the level. Prepare for a lot of shouting. Brutal.
There's Mousecraft on the Switch, February 27th. Mousecraft is an A to B puzzle game where players help Schrodinger, the crazy cat scientist, in completing his mysterious mice-powered invention. Pile up tetromino bricks to create a safe path for as many mice as possible. Gather collectibles, fight enemies, use different types of blocks, blow up things, and avoid environmental hazards in 80 handcrafted levels. I'll take this next one. Yeah. Overpass. This is probably going to be my mummy. God knows what it is, but I've got to pick this anyway because I've left it this late in the boot. It's a little bit like when you're as a single man and you're uptown and you had to do a safety dance with something that maybe wasn't your first pick. Oh yeah. So I'm going to safety dance with Overpass on the PC, PS4 and Xbox One, February 27th. God, why have I picked this? This is the Debs Babs of games, isn't it? The safe bet. Take it home. It's the Overpass. It's a rhythm adventure from a new perspective. Drive and drift to the beat. Oh, that actually sounds quite cool. On a futuristic road trip through music where the skyline is always in sync. That's what happens when Ray leaves the... you know when you get a magic tree and you decide that you're going to take the whole wrapper off instead of following the instructions and leaving the wrapper on and just...
Oh, yeah.
And you shut the door and you gas down. That's what happens to Ray.
It is. My pick next, Bloodroots, PC, PS4 and Switch, February 28th. In Bloodroots, the world is your weapon. Improvise and adapt to an ever-changing ballet of ultra-violence in a bloody revenge quest across the weird West. Betrayed and left for dead, Mr. Wolf is hell-bent on finding his killer and enacting revenge alone and vastly outnumbered. Thankfully for Mr. Wolf, the world is your weapon in Bloodroots, a relentless action game that unfolds across the weird West. I've read that already, I'm sorry. The world is overflowing with makeshift weapons that not only change the way you fight, but how you get around. Improvise the most deadly combos and compete for fame on worldwide leaderboards. Fight your way through a variety of handcrafted levels from forest to mountaintops, and experience a twisted western revenge tale with a deranged cast of characters.
I wanted that to be on the... I wanted that to be on the Vita.
Well, it didn't. It's on the PS4 though. I bet you could you remote play that to the Vita?
Yeah, that'd probably be acceptable.
Yeah, I genuinely might pick that up.
What's your VHS?
Oh, now you're asking.
Was that your mummy?
My VHS is the... I hope I didn't have this last week.
It's Apollo 13. Go with that.
No, I was going for episode 1 Phantom Menace with the gold and black case.
Stingray's got the Humbrol out again, hasn't he? It's totally legit. Well, he wouldn't say anything, would he? Just nod and be like,
yeah.
It's good, that. This is the last one before he drifts away from us like smoke, just disappearing. One Punch Man, a hero nobody knows. PC, PS4, Xbox One, February 28th. The first One Punch Man game finally makes its debut. Dive into a dynamic fighting game experience with beloved characters from the first season of One Punch Man. Play as your favourite hero or become one. And he's gone.
Wow.
He's gone.
Cloud of smoke.
You miss him. He just eviscerates to nothing. Tom, those that paid attention at the very start of the show, listened through the whistle-stop tour of listeners around the world, they listened to that hard-hitting news about the Xbox One's feature that you totally forgot about, where you're always playing the latest version of the latest game and the best graphical powers. Then they listened to the history of the Gamecube, the mighty Gamecube, and quite a emotional themed one for you, because we're in your bedroom looking at your teenage passions up there on the wall. Shane McMahon.
Shane O'Mac. He's a dream.
And then we eased out the Gamecube into listening to Stingray, and that was a good one this week. Some nice pickups. And then the Ray reversed up, popped his boot.
Not the best picks, but
some pirate software in there, some dodgy looking VHSs. You picked episode 1 Phantom Menace. Sadoo-doo. Bantha doo-doo.
You said it's your favourite prequels film.
It is the best prequel
Terrible.
film. It looks like Star Wars. It's filmed on film with not that much CGI. If you do your research, do the research. And then 2 and 3 are shot on green screen with a load of Australian actors, because Lucas wanted to maximise his return, and they are terrible. 2 is worse than 1, and 3, the bigger boys are all like, oh, it's one of my favourites. It's not. It's rubbish.
It's awesome.
It's not awesome.
We'll not argue about this.
Biggest pile of tat you've ever seen. So, those that paid attention through our little spat about Star Wars and have arrived now, at this moment, this very moment in time, they're thinking, he needs to ask him what he's hoping to play.
What are you hoping
That was a
to play?
slick link, wasn't it? Oh, no, you can't answer a question with a question, you slithering little dog. What are you hoping to play? Are you playing that Black Root game, whatever it's called?
Blood Roots? I don't know.
Blood Roots. That's
Roots.
kind of what would have been left dangling from the lift doors if you hadn't pulled your bouffant in when we descended down. Blood Roots. You going to play that?
Oh, maybe.
You
I'm
promised
not
me.
sure.
You promised me you were going to download that, play that. That was going to be.
Genuinely,
Let me quote you. It's all about the Blood Roots. Unquote.
There's nothing else. I'm just terribly picky.
Do you want a top tip from me? Do you
Yeah.
want a top tip from me? And you can come back and prove me wrong, because I don't think it's even that much money right now, even if you weren't savvy enough to add it to your library. Mad Max.
I've been tempted by Last Guardian because of playing Shadow of the Colossus.
Don't do it. Don't be so flipping ridiculous. I can't even defend that game.
£50 as well on the store.
Are you tempted by that?
No, I'm not. I was hoping it was going to be a lot less.
Trust me, I give you my word. Mad Max is your game. Why don't you do a lovely Valère on it? Prove me wrong.
No.
Prove me wrong.
No.
Prove me wrong.
Old.
I will even back you the money. How much is it?
I don't know.
I'm gonna.
I've probably, knowing me, I've probably downloaded it to the library and just not checked.
Well, while I tell you, you ignore me. While I tell you what I'm hoping to play, and you tell me how much it is. So what I'm hoping to play, well, listeners, dear listeners, because I know you're listening to me. I'm the baby face. Look at him. He's cowardly snivelling around his phone to see how much money he can extract out of me. I want the proof and the receipt, by the way, you little rat. He's a disgusting human being.
Can't spend it on Fortnite boxes or whatever it's called.
V-Bucks. What am I hoping to play? I'm going to play this weekend. I'm going to play Mad Max myself because I was savvy enough to add it to my library and I'm enjoying that. I'm probably going to play a little Persona 4 Golden. I don't know if Lord Pontypridd's going to have me press 2, so I might be on that. What else? Ni no Kuni, Devil May Cry on the PS2. I think that might be it. Now, have you provided us and the loyal listeners with an answer? How much is that game?
£7.49.
Get
84% off.
Get it, and next time you see me, I'll give you £7.49 in cash.
I might just buy that when I get paid.
You've been paid.
Ponsonbury's not. He says he pays on the first or like the end of the month, but he doesn't.
I had to sign a contract the other day that said I donate 99.9% of my hourly wage to you, so we can keep doing the show and it's not a one-man show anymore.
Okay.
They want us both to be on it. The fans have said they need your voice and mine. The gaming bouffant and the chocolate mousse of video games. That's what they wanted. I think if I describe myself as a chocolate mousse, it's probably time for us to call it a day. And that's all we have time for. Thank you this week, listeners. As always, thank you for your time, and we look forward to the pleasure of speaking to you again next week. Until then, happy gaming. Remember, there's nothing wrong with being given the unofficial controller. It's what you do with it that counts. See you, Tom.
See you, mate.